Okay, so here is my little summary, and I'm just going to answer the questions as we go. I have some pages open that are going to remind me of the answers, but excited to break down chapter 2 for you today. So one of the first questions in your concerns is the whole section of fear. Like, what did you take away from it? And in my understanding of sales, like, sales is a scary job. Sometimes we're given goals and objectives that might stress us out and give us fear. And as managers, there's times when we're not sure if we're going to hit those expectations laid before us. What I really took from this section especially was that even though there are things that are going to stress us out that lead to fear, we shouldn't let that affect the way we do our work. We should just accept the outcome. And I think this actually leads into the second question where it says detach from the outcome, because there's a lot of things you can do and a lot of things you can't do that are out of your control. And so if you're accountable for your results, you're owning up to mistakes that have been made, things that might you could have done, but also you shouldn't let the outcome affect you personally, especially if you do, that can affect your work later on. And so the whole premise is that while you're managing, these are serious things. There's a lot of things that are scary, a lot of things that are frustrating, but you can't let that affect you as a manager, and you can't let that affect your team either. And it's super important. When it comes to active listening, it said a few different things, but active listening is something that happens in the moment. It's like, are you really engaged in what's happening in front of you? And I think it just ties a lot back into like who you're coaching and are they really important to you? And like, obviously in sales, you're working with customers that have needs, that have frustrations, and the best salespeople are the ones that ask questions and listen when you ask those questions. And it's the same thing when you're being when you're coaching. It says if you're not fully present, you can't be engaged and connected with the person you're speaking with. And so having that 100% engagement, focusing on them, you're able to have very effective conversations. And going back to the question before, you have to detach yourself a little bit from the outcome. Sometimes as managers, we have all these goals and dreams and aspirations we want to hit because we're just very driven people. And sometimes the salesperson in front of you isn't like you. They're going to have a different approach, a different way of doing things, and they're going to have their own frustrations, their own concerns, their own way of doing things. And we need to detach ourselves from the outcome and just focus on that person, listen to their concerns, listen to what they're doing, and give them the help that they need without worrying so much about the end result and all these other things. Because if we're not listening to the people around us, I feel like our results will actually drop because we're not really building each other up. It's more of a toxic environment of always trying to be the best and hit all these crazy goals. What it meant by being fully accountable, there's no way I can control everything. Okay, I really liked the example given in the book about the airlines, and how there was like the weather was out of their control, but they still owned up to it. And they said, we're so sorry. They took full accountability. They righted a lot of wrongs and they moved forward. And I think that is the measure of a great leader, is that we can blame a lot of other people, but we can blame a lot of outside sources, or we can just take it upon ourselves to like be better and grow with it. Being fully accountable is just a lot about personal growth, I feel like. In my own life, I think I've learned to say I'm sorry a lot more to people and like have that forgiveness as well for others, because like holding on to feelings or like getting grudges or always blaming other things, you're always going to have an excuse for why it didn't work out instead of having that ownership to drive the results you want. And so when I take this, it's definitely alleviating any frustrating emotions. It's taking ownership, and I think with that, moving forward and doing the best you can. And with that, I think long term, that's a lot more sustainable of a personality and choice to be making. So those are just some of my brief thoughts about the chapter. I really did like it. And it really did remind me that people matter more than numbers and results in my own life. So yeah, that was it. Thank you.